What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Working on the 2004 LB7 again. So we are in process right now of replacing the CV axles. As you can see, we just got it out, but what we want to do at this point while we have it out is I need to replace the ball joints. So you can look at this one and see that it's blown out on the inside, getting some noise going on. So the CV axle, as you can see, the boot was blown out as well. That needed to be replaced. So we're going to go ahead and do, we're working on the CV, but in this one, doing the upper and lower ball joints, as well as the sway bar link right there. So I've already got that out. We had to take it out to do the CV to get it out. But this, we'll do the ball joints. As you can see, they're pretty crusty up in there. So work on those, getting those out, getting those replaced, and the sway bar link wasn't bad to get out at all. So let's jump to it. So I'll actually just go ahead and show you how I got the sway bar link out because we had to do it to get the CV out. So it's pretty simple. We're just going to use, this is the bottom of it. So it sits like this in the truck. I just used a 14 millimeter socket on the end of the impact. Put it on the bottom. This is, it's kind of worn down here, but I just used some big channel lock pliers to grab the top and hold that firm while I used the impact on the bottom to loosen it. So not too bad. Then once you get the top off, that comes off, you want to get this bolt out. The bolt comes out, and then this is sitting in the middle. This is sitting in here, and you'll just be able to pull it out once you get it done. So really not too bad to get this out. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is get this brake line bracket out of the way. So I just got a 10 millimeter, and I'll hit that. Pretty simple. Pull that up and out of the way so it's loose. And then now for me, I'm going to get all this grime cleaned off so we can actually see what we're working with. So now that you can see that we actually do have a ball joint there, got all that grime cleaned off of it, we need to start out taking this nut right here off of it. So I'm going to use an 18 millimeter right here. Take it off and get it loose. So we've got it coming off. It's really not that tight. So just go ahead and get this back down. All right, so beating that stud out alone wasn't getting the job done. So here is the setup that I went with. I got the small jack that is out of the truck, or you could do this with a little bottle jack as well. I just had it sitting right on top of the lower control arm, sitting right up against that stud. I was cranking it up, putting pressure on the stud at the bottom, and then hitting right up here with the hammer just to try to loosen that taper, and eventually it did pop out. So just trying to put some pressure on it just to push it up, get all that rust loose. So now that we have this out, we do have a ball joint press tool that we got from the local auto parts store as a loaner, and we can press out this top ball joint. So I've got my ball joint press tool fit up here. If you get it, they come with instructions, but you can kind of see the setup. Just got a big cup over the top so that when we press up, the ball joint can come up into this right here. And then we just got, on this one, it's 22 millimeters on this ratchet right here. And I'll just get it to where we just slowly crank on this and bring it up. So I just took this off just so you can see how it works here. The cup, as you can see, the ball joint is pressed up out of the control arm right now, and it just fits, this cylinder just fits right over top of it. So as you press it up, the ball joint just comes in it. So pretty simple press tool. So we'll just keep doing it until we get the ball joint all the way out. All right, there we go. It just got really loose, so that should be out now. And yep, there we go. Here's our old ball joint. So now that we got this out, I just took a rag, cleaned up the inside surface, and now I have some brand new kryptonite ball joints to go in here. These ones do also have grease fittings on them, as well as a snap ring to hold it in down there. So it's a nice upgrade to what was in it. So let's go ahead and put these in, get these pressed into place. So now I've got the new ball joint set in here straight, and then got the cup on the bottom that goes over the opening with the adapters to where this one, I don't know exactly what they're called, but this one sets nicely on the outer edge of the top of the ball joint. Then I'll just screw them down. Till we get it nice and tight. Then we'll just go ahead and again take our ratchet and press this down in place. And it's nice and tight, but we are making progress. All right, so we got it to where it snugs up, and I'm not torquing it down, but we're at about 70 foot-pounds on the torque wrench or so. So we know we got this pressed all the way in. We'll just back this down. There we have it. You can see we got the ball joint pressed all the way in. And now this one does have a snap ring that'll go on the underside here. It'll go in this groove that's right there. So we'll put the snap ring in, and then the ball joint itself is installed, and then we can just put it back in our spindle here. All right, finally got the snap ring on there, as you can see. And it was not easy. My snap ring pliers are not quite big enough to open it all the way, so it took me probably at least an hour to get this on here. But it's on. Now we can get it reattached, and we're going to torque this down to 37 foot-pounds. When we get the washer and the cowsel nut on here, torque it down 37 foot-pounds, and put in our cotter pin. Then we'll take our cotter pin and see if we can find the hole. There is the hole for it. And we'll take our needle nose and get this bent in place. So we've got that now bent in place. So we can just put on the grease zerk that goes in the top here. It comes with a 90 degree and a straight. So we'll put in the straight one right here, and then this top is done. Upper ball joint complete. So now starting on this lower ball joint, of course we need to get the nut off the bottom, which I'm using a 24mm socket to do. Seems a little bit big for it, but it's tight enough that it should work. So it's loosening up. We'll get this taken off and then again use the press to press this ball joint out. So I think I wised up and went and got a loaner ball joint separator. So we'll try this and see if it works. There we go. I think I just heard it move. All right, there we go. It's coming out finally. So now I think I'm just going to take the jack and put it on the control arm itself and push it up so we can try to completely separate it from the knuckle right there. Okay, so come to find out, you have to have the upper ball joint loose, basically off, in order to get the bottom of this out of the knuckle. So had to basically pick this up, take this off, and then got to make sure you have a cinder block here or something to set this on, unless you want to take your brake line off, which I did not. So got this block here, and now we can actually press this out. So now we can tighten this and push it down. Well, I was about to give up on getting this out. It was too tight to press it out. Had the press crank down as much as I could. You can see now it's broken free. So I literally just took this sledgehammer and just wailed on it. So finally got it broke loose. So I think now should be able to take the press and put the press on here and get it out the rest of the way. So this one has definitely been a booger to try to get out. I was about to give up and go get some penetrating oil, which still probably wouldn't be a bad idea to do to help break things up, but slammed on it with a sledgehammer and got it out. So we'll press it out the rest of the way. There we go. All right, lower ball joint's out. So I've got a new ball joint and press installation set up here. We'll get this lined up straight. All right, got that tightened down. All right, looks good. Now we put our grease zerk in and then get this knuckle back on it. So now this is probably a little bit of the hard part, because this knuckle and brake setup weighs a bunch. So I'm just going to try to get it set up on the bottom here and then just thread the nut up top to hold it on. All right, what I'm going to need you to do is lower the jack and then reposition it where it's under the bottom of this knuckle to help me pick it up, because it's too heavy for me to pick up and put the nut on. And now I'm going to have to try to move this over for you to set it under it. Okay. Okay, come over. All right, right there actually. All right, so can't really see it, but I've got my wife helping me here. This knuckle with the brake and everything on it's too heavy for me to pick up on my own. So I had her put the jack under it and got it lined up with the bottom ball joint and have that through. And then I'm just going to thread on the nut just to hold it for now, just so the nut's in place. And then I'm going to keep jacking it up until I can get the nut on the upper ball joint. All right, keep going up, dear. All right, hang on. All right. All right. All right, so at this point, we can't get the upper ball joint down enough to get the nut on it. But I think what we need to do is get the bottom one tightened and the taper into the knuckle, which will then pull it up so that we can get the upper one connected as well. So that's what we'll do. We'll just tighten them down, and they should just pull into it. So we should be good to go. So I got the bottom one torqued down, and I forgot, I need to put the jack underneath the lower control arm to push this whole thing up, and then we can get the castle nut on the upper ball joint reseated. And then torque the lower ball joint to 74 foot-pounds, upper one is 37. Okay, so we got the CV back in, as you can see. So now we're ready to put the sway bar link back in. So we're starting out, our rod will go up through the bottom, have a washer on the bottom, a bushing, now we'll go up, we'll have another washer and a bushing. We've got this rod, another washer and bushing, so we'll just get this threaded all the way down and then torque these to 14 foot-pounds, or basically until we get a nice smush on these bushings, and then we'll be good to go. Now we can just hook these back up, throw the wheel back on, and we're done. So that is the ball joints and the sway bar link. So that was quite difficult, honestly. A big pain in the butt trying to get those ball joints out, but it is doable by yourself. And just like I had my wife come and help a couple times, definitely could use a hand in some situations. So we did it though. Both ball joints, upper and lower, replaced, as well as that sway bar link. So that's it for this one. You can do it in your driveway. It's a tough job, but you can do it. Well, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, and I hope this one helped. I'll catch you in the next one.